Hey guys, Bobby here from Friction CrossFit with Jeff from Friction CrossFit as well. Today we're going to cover the topic of driving for you guys that drive a lot or go on trips where you're driving a ton. So first thing we're going to cover is bad position while driving. So we're going to see a few things when we're driving. One, we got this overhand grip, shoulders and internal rotation, and sometimes we'll even see that you got your foot on your pedal and that other leg could be in the other position or kind of all over the place. And then his head's forward, he's not bracing his midline. So this is what you don't want to look like. Let's get into a good position. We'll start at the feet. So we want our feet under our knees, which means you might have to pull your seat forward, and we want that steering wheel a little bit closer to your body with an underhand grip. Now, if I have my foot forward on this pedal, I'm going to also want my other foot forward, because if I have my legs offset, it's going to offset my pelvis, which is going to put some rotation on my spine, which isn't going to feel good for several hours if you have a long commute to work and back. So from here, I want to work up into my glutes. Now, a good way to set your pelvis is in either a standing or a seated position that we have today, is just to squeeze your butt as hard as you can. Go ahead and do that, Jeff. You'll see it kind of lifts him up, but his pelvis is actually going to rotate into a neutral position. From here, he's going to squeeze his stomach as hard as he can and keep just about 20% of that tension there, and then he can relax his glutes. And that abdominal tension will keep his pelvis in position and his rib cage in position and his spine neutral. The next thing is to get a little bit more extension in the upper back or thoracic region and put a slight external rotation there, which just means putting some tension into the back of the shoulder. That's going to keep his shoulders in position, and then the best position for his hands on the wheel is going to be an underhand grip. If he goes overhand, show us that. See how his shoulders will roll forward, and then he's more likely to lose his thoracic position. So you want to see this underhand grip. It's actually going to be less work while you're driving. It'll be easier to maintain for several hours if you have to drive that long. The next final piece is the head position. You'll notice that Jeff has his head right in the back of that post there. If you're driving, you do want to make contact with your headrest, but you don't want to be caught resting there. So it's just getting like the back of your head or your hair to just make contact with that. So those are our main points as far as position goes. I see that his spine is nice and neutral. So moving out of here, you can go ahead and relax, Jeff, and set down that heavy steering wheel. A few mobility pieces to kind of work on your position there. The first one is to get into a thoracic spine mobilization. So for this one, we have our only tool, which is going to be a roller, and this is like a $7 piece of equipment that you can pick up pre-cut from Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you get your home improvement needs. But to do this one, I'm going to have Jeff demonstrate this. Jeff's going to go ahead and lay on his back. He's going to position that roller from mid-shoulder blade to the bottom of his rib cage. And first thing we're going to do is just make sure we're working on one side at a time. He's going to rock over and he's going to work up and down very slowly in small segments. So work about 30 seconds on each side, and then he'll work over to the other side. We're trying to stay on soft muscle tissue here. And then we can work on some extension where he's actually going to reach overhead and look to open up that thoracic spine. So that's the first piece, very inexpensive piece of equipment. Go ahead and relax. And then the next one is going to be a hip flexor and ankle combination. So he's going to step up on that bench with one leg, facing the bench, and he's going to try and drive his hip forward while also putting pressure into his ankle. And now he can kind of shift his weight around and work on some of that ankle dorsiflexion. You can also work on his hip flexor on this side and the adductor on his right leg. So working like a minute there, just kind of exploring some tight corners. The next piece is going to be for shoulder mobility. And for this one, I'll demonstrate this one. You're going to grab a post inside of it, and then you're going to lean up to get some tension in the front of your shoulder, and then you're going to drop your head away from that shoulder. It's going to give you a good neck stretch, but if you get caught driving for a long period of time, your head will get forward, this tissue gets tight. So that's that, and then we're going to give you guys a few strength movements to kind of reset your body and help you stay out of those poor positions. So the first one, Jeff, go ahead and lay on your back. This one's going to be a hip thruster performed on the floor. So first thing Jeff's going to do is have his feet set up under his knees. He's going to tighten up his stomach, make sure he maintains tension here, and he's going to drive his hips up as far as he can. Now we don't want to get in a bad position where we're actually round our lower back. If you can show him what that looks like, Jeff. Too much, so reset and keep that tension in the abdomen, squeeze the butt, and we'll do a set of 30 there, and that'll get that tissue fired up. It'll help you reset your pelvis while you're in the seated position. The next one is to set up on a chair, and this is kind of a cervical position, scapular position. You can actually hang out right here, but for this one, Jeff's going to pull his shoulder blades back while trying to make his neck as tall as he can. So what he's actively doing is squeezing these shoulder blades together and then trying to tuck his chin as best he can, and it'll lengthen out the cervical, kind of help him position his shoulders and neck. The last one, Jeff can turn over here, lay on your stomach, is going to be a arm lift and lifting your chest up. So you throw your arms overhead, Jeff. You're going to lift your chest up, leaving your hips and legs on the ground. Get your arms off the ground as best you can and really try to open that chest up, lifting up and drop all the way back down and just lift up. So now we're working to kind of strengthen some of the erector spinae that we mobilized during that mobility piece. Thanks, Jeff. Awesome work there, guys. A few tips. If you are taking long drives, you stop to go to the bathroom, stop to get food, take those times to also hit a few squats, loosen your hips up, maybe hit a few stretches that you saw today. Guys, thanks for watching this first video of 5. The next one's going to be how to sit at a computer properly and not lose your position there, and how to restore that position and get strength back to not fall out of that position. So, if you enjoyed our work today, you should come into our location, Friction CrossFit, located on 3390 Broadmoor, and take part in our 1-week free trial where we'll get more flexible, work on positions and movement, and also improve our mobility. See you guys next time.